All right, there we go. I just want to give people a heads up before we started this real quick and kind of see where we're at. So we have been watching this very, very closely, and pretty exciting times here. We just had a pretty substantial dump of the MACD and the RSI. So we see them taking. So I mean, this little, if you're watching the stream on YouTube, we took a pretty good little dump over. This line had actually twisted over and was pretty horizontal. So we got to keep a real eye on this thing. We came down, we broke through the 30 for just a minute, and we came down and tested the 7MA. So we came over, gave it a nice little touch on that 7MA right there. Now a couple people were asking, if we do break through here, how low can we go? So a pretty good target we have is we have a target of this 7MA right here, which is 6187. It is moving higher. Now this will possibly start to roll over also if we do start to dump. So here we are, we've got the 30-day at 6681 that is moving down. That is going to add an additional resistance level. So what I'm looking for is, I'm still looking for this to come down on the daily. I'm looking for this to come together. This is giving us a squeeze. The bulls need to get above this before they need to get above this blue line right here. The bulls need to get above 65.33. It is almost imperative for the bulls to get above and make a new high with volume. Let me be very specific on that. They need to break through with volume. Let me see if I've got my volume thing here. I mean, the volume over the last few days has been, that's just abysmal. I mean, the volume is not, the volume has just slowly been teetering off. This is pretty much, you know, your standard range up in here, and it's just kind of dumped and dumped and dumped and dumped, and still extremely low. We had a couple nice halfway decent candles after these miserable low volume candles. Still not enough volume to get us up out of this mess. We need a really strong showing here by the bulls to get a good solid push up and out of this. So we need some real volume to come in. I don't know whether it's going to be news or what it's going to be, but here we are. People are asking me, where do you think the next touchdown could be if we break through this? I am clearly looking for a position, this to be caught at the 7MA, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. If we don't get this jump up, which I am, remember I've been telling you, we've been watching this very closely. It has been clearly marked on my chart. Golden cross possible. Getting below this with the price, and we have 7 hours left, closing below this is a catastrophe for the bulls. Okay, the bulls have got to keep the price above this, above both of these MAs. The next 12-hour candle needs to close above these golden MAs to give us a little pump up. That's what I'm looking for. This is not a good sign right here on our bubble chart, on our MACD bubble chart. This is not a good sign on our RSI chart. You can see we went up, it tapped, and we clearly came back down. Perfect, just absolute perfect. Couldn't have played that any better. Historical, 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 all perfect. Okay, now here is something we can look for, and I know this chart's a little squinched up. There's a lot of information on this chart, but you can see that we came down and we bounced off of this line right here, right? Here we bounced off, so we have two green catch zones. Now neither one of these green catch zones for the RSI did much good. You can see that we did rally. We did have a nice little rally right there, but then it did continue on downwards. So I am looking for a catch at either one of these green lines and a possible bounce. Once again, this gives me an idea of the 6,200 range. If this dumps down here, we catch this on the 6,200 on the 7 MA on the daily, and then we get a bounce. That's what this shows me here. That's what this shows me here. So, and then it could possibly break back down again. Let's kind of move along the chart. So here we came down, hit the catch zone, dumped out, came up, through the catch zone, back up, back down. So here the catch zone actually worked as resistance to the price drop. I'm going to open this chart up so we've got a little more idea of kind of what happened and when. All right, and all right, so as we move across right here, so here you see we came up, tested, we had a drop and it caught it, we had a small bounce and then it dove off, right? So clearly was caught in the green line. Here the same thing, came down. This is a pretty substantial drop here, caught it, bounced it up, right? The issue is I'm not seeing a bullish reaction like that except for this one. So right here is one of the only places I can find we came up and touched and bounced back down and then just moonshotted, and that was February. So this is I am watching out for this. This is a warning thing for me. So let's throw a red circle on this right here. Let's put a white circle. We're going to do white right there because that would be a bull run. Remember, I use white to signify bull runs. And here it is. Let's go across right here and check this one right here. Okay, here we had again, came down, kind of ran through the green line and finally rebounded with a nice little bullish run. You would have had to be able to really time this thing to catch the bottom. That would have been very tricky. This is a long bullish candle. So that would have been trying to catch the knife right there. That would have been very challenging to try to catch that trade. So let's go back to our present timeline and see where we're at. I want to get a good close-up so everybody can really see what's the situation we're in right now. So here we go. So if we do come down and break through here, you see we will, let's throw up the 7 MA and the 30 MA. Okay, give me 1 second, everybody. I need to change this 30 to white. There we go. So you can see right now we are in that danger zone. I still think we're going to get a bounce up before we pounce down. That's what this is telling me. Come down, bounce off this, come down. This is going to take time. Come down, bounce off this golden cross, get the bounce, and then dump. All right. I mean, this looks like a pretty good setup. If you are in a short position or a long position, I would be very careful here. You should only be scalping. And if I were watching this and I were a scalper, I would be watching the 12-hour chart to see if these do come together below the price line. I would open a pretty good hedged long play for a scalp, and I think that would be, you could make some nice little profits with a little baby run up. Set your stop losses tight, just do a trailing stop loss, and this might be a really good one. Then just set your stop limit below that 7 MA in case it dumped out. So you have pretty good risk to reward on this trade right here if this does cross under. If this crosses over, the opposite applies. You have a pretty good short. Once it breaks through that 7 MA, it is going to dump. It's going to go down the toilet like a turd. So we need to be very careful, watching out for this. If this closes and opens a new candle below the 7 and the 30. We have 7 hours left in this candle, this 12-hour candle to close. Let's be really safe. I'm looking at, let's answer a couple questions here. Where's Bitcoin going now? Just went over that to the moon. One day. I hope one day. And my moons happen. Oh, I hope my moons happen every couple months. I mean, I love going up and down because I make money both ways. I'm looking at ETH at the moment. I see a bearish pennant. Let's go take a peek over at ETH. I do have that chart up. And where is that chart? Where is my ETH chart? Let me get some of these out of the way. All right, let's just use this one. Let's load up our ETH chart. All right, here we go. ETH. Yeah. Wow, ETH is pretty weak right now. So I would look at ETH as being a little bit weaker than BTC in this particular point. I do see, so ETH is looking, this is the 12-hour, so ETH is not even on the bottom. Let's take a look at our BTC chart so we can compare them side by side. Where is that? Where are you at? Hold on a second. All right. Okay, so here we got BTC. So here's the 12-hour. We're going to bring up the 12-hour in BTC. All right, so you can see here side by side that BTC has a little more support directly under it. It has more room to go. Came down, tapped off that. We are on the 12-hour chart. Here you can see on the 12-hour chart, ETH has not reached down and touched its support yet. Let's do a side-by-side with this. So I'm going to get a good side-by-side with ETH right here. All right, so let's switch over to the daily. We can get a good daily comparison because remember, the majors do like to follow BTC. All right, so here you go. You got the daily chart for both ETH and BTC. We're side by side. You do have, it looks like if this does dump out, this once again, this looks like an inside bar to me with a perfectly formed shooting star candle. This does look weaker to me. 440, I would put as a possible bottom here for a bounce. Piercing that 7 MA would get ugly really fast. You do see we have a little more support, so BTC has a little more support and is doing a little better. Look at this MA line. You got the 7 MA just running diagonal down. You have on the BTC chart, it is actually angling up, showing more support on Bitcoin. So it is showing more support. This is showing more downtrend. All right, let's see what we got. How do you deal with contradicting signals? So I remember, so when I look at signals, first thing I look when I do my trading is I look at trend first, and we can go, let's show a quick trend chart. Let's see what we got here. Here we go. We'll use this one. Okay, so when I am looking at a chart, right, those bullish, I am looking at a trend. So this is, all right, so let's go 1 day. Indicators, all right, there we go. So when I trade a trend. So what I see here is I see a trend coming down, and I see this from the peak here. Looking at this as a non-professional Elliott wave guy, and I swear I hate getting called out by Elliott snobs all the time because my waves are not perfect. I label an ABC, it's an XYZ or LMNOP, and I get called out for it all the damn time. I'm more of a destination guy. Where are we going? How are we going to get there? When are we going to get there? Trying to get there. I count this as a wave 1 to here, possibly. So I see it coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5, coming all the way down here. You know, this is kind of tough to count. So let's see what we got here. I have a chart that's got it on there. So I see this right here is a long impulsive wave coming down. I do not see this as a 5. I still think this is 1, 2, 3 is down here. I still think 3 is down here. I see this as a 1. You know, I still think we're in a wave 3 possibly. I still think this is a wave 3, or if this is a wave 3, it's a very short wave 3. It's going to end right down here. Right? Because I can't really count 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe, but that's a super long 2, 3. See, wave 3 in here would be short. This would be a wave 5, one long wave 5. This would be a 1 to 2. If this was a 1 to 2, we really, this wouldn't be a wave 1 of wave 3 in here. There's just not enough action. So the wave 1 would have to be down into here. This would be my wave 1. I would count this as a dead cat bounce off of support coming down. So we come down, we have support, we get a dead cat bounce off of it. It's just, this is really complicated to count this as a, even as a 5, because where do you get the 1? I don't see a 1 right here. This, if this is, unless this 1, 2, 3, I mean, it's like the shortest 3 on earth. And Elliott people will probably just fall over and have a cardiac arrest if I tried to draw that as a 3. I still draw this as a 1, 2, possibly 3 going down. Still, it's hard as an Elliott wave guy to get a good solid count out of this, but I don't think the bottom is in. I think we have one more little leg down to go. Right? So that's my take on the Elliott count of that. I trade the trend, so when I look at this, I am trading the trend. The trend is down. I feel safer in a short here than I do in a long. Even on this bounce in April, I felt safer. Knowing that as we got closer to the tops, I actually felt very secure in short positions loading up here in the top. I feel longs here are, you're 50-50. I think we're really, really close. Just looking at this, once again, this is a bullish candle. It's a bullish candle. It's a bullish candle, and I think this setup is pretty equal to this. So if we get this same uppity and down drop, that's fine. Then I can see us taking off. I can see us taking off. Taking off from right here, I'm not sold on it. I'm just not sold on it. Ichi Cloud really not giving us much information at all. I mean, I haven't used the Ichi Cloud. The only signal that I really liked and saw and was a good confirmation was the 2 bearish Kumo twists. I mean, those were perfect signals. They just gave us great trading opportunities, and I was already in the short trade. This was just a confirmation signal for me. And where are we at here? Let's see what other charts we have open. Let's get... okay, give me one more second. Okay, going back to the 12-hour. So let's pull up a... let me load... All right, let's take a look at some Stoke charts. So here we have our 3-day. We have our 3-day chart on our Stoke. You see that we have climbed up. I had a wedge right here. I was hoping we would hold this wedge, A, B, C, D, E. That is clearly not happening. So when I looked at this originally, I looked at this as a massive A, B, C, D, E. E is supposed to be our failure wave. I could still be right. This could still fall out of the sky anytime, and we're on the cusp from this thing taking off. I want to really get down into some of the tighter time frames. Here is the 12-hour Stoke. This is dangerous territory. Let's bring up the 12-hour so we can get a pretty good idea what happens. So here we go. We can get a good idea of what happens here when we get high. So this, look at how straight this has been. I mean, this has just been amazing. It is perfect. Usually you get this skipping pattern that happens on the top and the bottom, so where it'll skip along, and this has just been almost absolutely just fluid. It's like a just perfect. It looks like it's almost sculpted, where you get choppiness, all this choppiness. I mean, it's hard to find something that is that smooth back through time here. It's just a really odd setup, and once again, I just don't. I mean, being this high up right now is disconcerting. If you are in a long trade and you are looking at this, you're saying, wow, this definitely has lots of room to fall. One thing I don't like is when I look at this chart, right, I see that you went from here, which is a pretty subsidiary, even here to there, which is pretty close, this distance from here to here. I mean, look at how far this climb was. This was 11.6 to 9.2. This was a very substantial movement that corresponded very nicely with the price action, with the indicator action on the Stoke, right? We've had this massive run up right here, and we've barely, I mean, we haven't even gone 1,000 points. So let's keep an eye on this. This is disconcerting to say the least, to have traveled this far and not had an equally or correlated price action. That just, with this run right here, we should be we should be right at about 7K. We should definitely be right. And here's a great example. If you look right here, so here's where we took off in April, right here. So we were at the 24, 25 line, and we took off to the 90 line, and look at how much shorter this little run is than this big massive run. And this was a beautiful, beautiful reversal candle, just beautiful run. We ran from 6,700 to 8,100. We ran that thing in like 2 hours or something. It was just crazy. That was a wild day. Not seeing the same over here. I am seeing a different setup on this. Now, people are saying we're going to go long from here, right? A lot of people are calling for 7,500, even even higher. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but I mean, this thing has really got to start skipping along the top right here to give us some pretty substantial. I need to see this. So you want to see this at the top of this action. This skipping right here will give you these nice pumps. So that's really what the bulls are counting on. The bears are looking at this scenario. Had this massive run up with absolutely zero price run up. There was no correlation in price, and then the price just canned, just totally tanked. Right? So, bring my indicators back up on here. What do we got going? So, let's bring up our TD. Bring up our TD line here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I am going to remove this. It's not needed. I'm going to remove this massive wedge. Move these areas. These were actually for training purposes in one of our members. I showed them how to trade this area. I showed them how to trade that area. So it's a bunch of stuff we went over. This ABC, you can see I've had this line here. This line goes all the way back to this pump. I've had this count. I've had a very similar count to this for quite a while. My call has always been 42 to 4800 to find the bottom and then to hopefully give us that next impulse wave up. So that's kind of where we've been sitting. I'm going to pull this off. Clean up this chart a little bit. So this was really just training some of our members. All right, so let's take a look at our, we got a 12-hour. Let's pull up our 3-day. So this is the most popular chart, once again, for our TD count. We are on a red 8 with a wow ugly candle. I mean, this is not a good candle. All right, so let's take a look at the difference between this candle here and this candle here. This is an inverted hammer at the bottom of a trend that clearly called for this is a great trading candle. This called for a mass. This is a reversal candle. This is a bullish candle at the bottom of a trend. This is a great candle. This is an easy trade. This is not good, and we have 19 hours, 18 hours, and 40 minutes left in this candle. If this candle were to close right now, the way it sits today, it would be one ugly bull candle. Okay? There is a equivalent of it at the very top. You can see we have a perfect setup shooting star candle. Has no bottom whatsoever and only the wick at the top. And that is what this daily is really cranking up to be, and that is a ugly wick right there. So the bulls really need to get up. Bulls need to get way up here. They just need to convert this whole candle. They got 19 hours to convert this candle into a bullish candle. So I am watching the candle. I'm watching the indicators. Let's take a look at our 1-day. Here we go. It's our 1-day chart. This is really not giving us any help. This is not giving us the information on the there's no help on the TD indicator here at all. This doesn't give us a good setup for any trades. Only thing that gives us a setup for the trade is the actual candles themselves. We had the bearish shooting star candle followed by an inside bar followed by a dump. So this dump should be substantial. So in the chat I have, where is that? Where are you? So here we go. So you can see the setup comparison. So you have what here is the hanging man candle right here. This is not a spinning top. This is more of a hanging man, but it is an inside bar for sure. So this setup kind of looks like this setup right here. So you've got the little wick on the bottom, got the little wick on the bottom, got the tall wick on top. Now this wick here is way more substantial. And you've got the inside candle, and then you've got a pretty good tanking action. So I'm looking at this as an inside bar setup. Actually, you know what, let's do this. I want to show you this. 12 hours defines this a lot better. There you go. So now take a look at this on the 12-hour. So there's your hanging man candle, and then it kind of slowly tanks down. And I'd still like to see. So look at how this is. You got the tip of the candle, comes down, punches up over. Tip of the candle, comes down, punches up over. So I'm still looking for this little V. I'm looking for this to create this V. I want to see this little V action here. I want to see this wick over. I want to see a candle wick over. I know that that'll be a good opportunity either for short and or to add on to shorts. I already am in shorts. I'm not looking to really add on to any more of my position at this point until we have another candle that breaks down lower. So I wouldn't add until we do break down. All right, we've been on for 45 minutes. I'll take one more question, and then do we have any? Hey, Killer, you posted a fractal that's been playing out. Hey, buddy, did you post that? I think, did you post it on my Twitter page, or did you post it in the Discord? Okay, so here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be stopping the audio on the on our YouTube channel. I'm going to leave the stream up for everybody so you guys can watch. We are going to be moving to Discord, so I will be continuing this. You can find the link on my Discord over at, it's up in my Twitter page. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button. Love to have you give me a little shout out on Twitter. I am putting a lot of time and energy in to these charts. I would love to have some more Twitter followers. Help me save the world, one degenerate crypto person at a time. All right, this is the Vamp. I want to thank everybody for being here, and I will catch you guys on the flip side in Discord.